inaabangan. Mas pinalakas na puwersa sa radyo. Rinig na rinig at malinaw na mapapanood on air at online. Saan man may Pilipino sa buong bansa, sa buong mundo. Ito ang True FM sa 105.9. Dito tayo sa totoo. Simulcast sa True TV sa Signal Channel 19.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taon pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Mainit at makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa sports, kumpleto yan dito sa Power and Play. Mula sa mga paborito at naglalakihang atleta hanggang sa mga natatanging Pinoy sports figures na dapat nyong makilala. Ihahatid yan dito sa Power and Play.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo. Ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ng bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, sumbe, sibay, lakay, amiga. Sama-samang pakita, ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Ang Power and Play ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, Love Your Journey. Photon, gawa ng Pilipino para sa Pilipino. At Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin ang laro. Gusto mo, pag-usapan natin, ibida ang hilig ng bawat Pilipino na merong taglay na galing. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Power and Play. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na. Pilipinas tayo na, bangon na. Power and Play na, bangon na. Bangon na, Power and Play na, bangon na.
Carlos Yulo with 2 gold medals.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Patapos na po ang taon, kaya naman nag-wind up na rin ang mga liga na ating pong kinagigiliwan. At yan po ang ating pag-uusapan ngayong Sabado ng umaga sa inyong paboritong kasalo, tuwing almusal. Ito po ang Power and Play. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat mga kapatid. Bangon na! Panahon na naman para tayo po'y mag-usapan, maghuntahan tungkol po sa pinakamaiinit na mga topics at usapan sa mundo ng palakasan. Ako po si Noling Iyala at muli pong bumabati sa inyo, sa inyong lahat po, sa mga nakikinig sa atin sa 105.9 True FM, sa 1PH at sa True TV Channel 19 sa Signal TV, and of course sa lahat po ng nakatutok sa amin all over the world sa pamamagitan po ng aming FB Live live streaming sa Power and Play at sa lahat po ng aming mga platforms. Siyempre po, tinututukan natin ang napakarami pong mga ligang nagtatapos na o di kaya nasa sa very important stages. Pero bago yan, siyempre, congratulating po natin ang pagkapanalo ng ating pong national team sa basketball, ang Gilas Pilipinas, sa kanila pong unang laro para sa ating pong paghahangad makabalik sa World Cup of Basketball sa 2027. Nanalo po kagabi ang Team Gilas Pilipinas kontra sa Team Guam Sa score po, malapit lang naman. 87-46 po ang pagkapanalo ng Gilas Pilipinas. At kaya po unang panalo yan sa window or yung qualifying windows ng World Cup qualifiers. Siyempre, hindi po kompleto ang ating huntahan at para lalo pa nating mahimay ang mga topics na ating pong pag-uusapan ngayong araw na to. Kasama ko po siyempre ang ating kaibigan at ang ating pong co-host dito po sa Power and Play, the man for all seasons, Jera Season.
Good morning partner. Good morning sa lahat ng mga nanonood. Ito na naman po kami dito sa Power and Play. Tulad nga ng sinasabi ni partner Noli dito, talagang marami ng mga patapos na, 'di ba? At nasa kasagsagan, 'di ba? At merong mga nasa finals na pag-uusapan natin mamaya.
Of course.
Oo,
diba?
kaya ang dami namin pag-uusapan ngayong araw na to at meron rin mga ibang sports discipline na kailangan maintindihan.
Dahil lalaban din yan.
Dahil lalaban din sila.
Sa ating pong patuloy na paghatid ng mga teams po natin na lalaban sa Southeast Asian Games.
Yes.
Ha? Mamaya po yan, ang pinag-usapan ng aking partner, yung pong Philippine Cricket Team.
Yes.
Mantakin mo may cricket team. Ang alam kong cricket lang yung yung insekto.
Akalaban nila yung insecticide.
Lalaban po itong ating Philippine Cricket Team. Ito pala ay naka-silver noong last SEA Games at ngayon po ilalaban sa Bangkok, sa Thailand para sa Southeast Asian Games. So mamaya po kilalanin natin ang ating national team. And mamaya rin po, bagamat minalas at hindi nakapasok, ang alam naman natin sa UAAP Final Four na.
Final Four.
UST mo pasok, ang Ateneo ko tanggal.
Pero Lasal naman pasok.
Pasok naman ang Lasal. Kaya pag ating pong hihimay naman ang naging kampanya ng Ateneo Blue Eagles, kasama po natin mamaya si Coach Tab Baldwin para mabigyan na rin tayo ng konting fearless forecast.
Fearless
or
forecast.
At least, kung hindi man kung ano nakikita niya.
Ano nakikita niya doon sa natitirang apat. At kung ano ang plano niya. Dahil di ba, renewed siya for 2 more
Another
years.
3 years.
Another 3 years. No?
Another 3
Kaya
years.
kung ano yung kanyang program para makabalik muli ang Ateneo sa final, at least sa Final Four.
At least may konting konsuelo.
Yes.
Ika nga ang mga naka-asul. Well, and of course, alam natin na bukas finals na ng PVL Reinforced Conference. Pambihira, no? Alam mo, nakakatuwa sa PVL. Yung mga nasa ilalim dati, ngayon ang nasa ibabaw.
Yes.
Ang tinutukoy po natin, of course, ang Zeus Coffee.
Thunderbell. Yes. Actually, partner, napanood ko Diba? Last week, in-interview natin si
The Beer.
Si The Beer. Halimaw pala yun. Halimaw pala maglaro yun.
Grabe talaga.
Talagang assassin, kumbaga.
Second leading scorer ng PVL and of course now in the finals at ang makakatapat po nila ay Petrogas.
Yes.
Ng ating kaibigang sila Ricky Villavicencio at Rafi Villavicencio. Kaya magandang laban po yan. At yan po ang ating isa sa mga tatalakayin natin sa ating unang yugto kung saan volleyball po ang magiging topic po natin. Ito pong nakaraang taon, mga ilang taon, ang volleyball talaga ay napakalaki ang naiangat, no? And of course, alam natin na naitanghal dito ang World Championship ng men's volleyball just recently. Kaya po talaga namang makikita natin ang mabilis na pag-unlad ng larong volleyball dito po sa ating bansa. And of course, we're also very competitive now. Lalong-lalo na sa Southeast Asia. Ngayon po sa Pilipinas, may nagkaroon po ng palitan ng liderato ng Philippine Volleyball. At yan po ang ating itatampok sa ating unang yugto sa What's the Score? Itinalagang bagong Philippine National Volleyball Federation President si Mr. Anthony Tony Boy Liao. Sinundan ni Liao si Tatsu Sara at magsisilbing Pangulo ng PNVF hanggang 2028. At ngayon pong araw pong ito, maswerte tayo dahil pinaunlakan tayo ng bagong halal ng PNVF para pag-usapan. Hindi lamang ang mga nakaraang pangyayari sa PNVF, kung hindi rin ang mga plano at programa niya
Yes.
na ika ngay siguro naging kumpiyansa ang mga miyembro ng PNVF to elect him as the new president of Philippine volleyball.
Vote of confidence.
Vote of confidence indeed. And of course, alam mo, matagal ko na nakasama si Tony Boy. In fact, nung bagong-bago nagpo-promote pa lang tayo ng volleyball, kasama na namin po si Tony Boy Liao. And talaga namang he is a volleyball man through and through. Sa isip at sa puso, talagang volleyball ang mahal ni Tony Boy Liao. At kasama na po natin ngayon ang presidente ng PNVF. Walang iba kundi si Mr. Anthony Tony Boy Liao. Magandang umaga, President Tony Boy.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, Commissioner Nolly.
Kasama natin si Jera.
Good morning po.
Good morning, Jera.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me in your morning show. So hopefully I could answer you and relate to you our plans for the next 4 years regarding the Philippine National Volleyball Federation.
Well, unang-una, congratulations, Tony Boy, for your ascendancy to the president. Alam ko that you've always been the biggest supporter of volleyball. Nasa puso mo yan. So I wanna ask you, ano ba ang rason? Bago tayo mag-usap tungkol sa mga programa mo, anong rason, why did you seek the presidency ng PNVF, Tony Boy?
Actually, I wasn't really seeking for the presidency, no? But, yung aming ex-board who was really, not really very sad, no? Parang very disappointed na yung past board, which I was also a member, medyo parang was not happy because of yung good governance, yung unity. It was like for the past year, it was like being run by one person. So wala na siyang mga tanong sa board kung ano mga dapat gawin. Talagang ang decision galing na sa isa, dalawang tao. Kaya nagkaroon ng supposed to be General Assembly last January 2025 na hindi nangyari dahil because of that World Championship noong September. So it was proposed na gagawin na lang October 2025 yung General Assembly. So during the September World Championship, we had an executive board meeting na we have decided na gagawin na yung General Assembly instead of October, gagawin nilang November. But ang nangyari, yung November 30 na magkakaroon ng General Assembly, they came out with a notice na it was November 30, but noong November 30 notice na meron ng notice, bigla nilang sinabi na gagawin na nilang January 2026 ng General Assembly. So, nagkaroon ng mga moves. So, yung mga nasa board, medyo sinasabi, bakit ganon? Madidelay tayo ng 1 year. Kasi dapat December 31st, tapos na yung aming tenure. So, nagkaroon na ngayon ng
so, parang may galaw pa na extend. Ganon ang dating.
Yes, parang gano'n nga. Na gusto nila mangyari, okay lang daw ma-extend kami ng 1 taon. Sabi ko sa bylaws, bawal na yun. Hindi na kami legal sitting down, no? So, they decided ngayon maging November 21 yung election.
Yun. Alam mo, Tony Boy, is it true na ang naging katunggali mo dito ba si Senator Alan Cayetano? Totoo ba yun?
Actually, medyo magulo balita, may mga balitang gano'n, may mga balitang si Tatsuzara. So, kasi ang nangyari ng election, instead na magkaroon ng nominations, they decided, kasi sila ang gumagawa ng election rules, no?
Okay.
In the past, we used to have sa stakeholders, we will nominate a number of nominees to be elected do sa 13-man board. But what they did now, iniba nila yung proseso. There were 47 stakeholders.
Okay.
Lahat ng 47 stakeholders can be elected. and they can elect.
Okay.
So, during the election, sa ballot,
So walang nominee. Wala, basta isusulat mo lang.
automatic, the 47
Are
stakeholders
nominated.
Are nominated.
Yes.
Oh.
Parang ganun.
Iba yun
Kaya nga, kaiba-iba. So kami naman, siyempre, we just follow because they are running the show.
Oh.
So we have to just elect 13 names in the ballot.
Ayun.
So if you will, let's say, elect more than 13, automatic your ballot is null and void.
Okay.
But you can elect below 13. You can only elect one. Kung kusunada mo, no?
Oo.
So, ganun ang nangyari. So, once the 47 ballots were casted, they ngayon counted the votes.
Oo.
The top 13
Ayun.
who made the top 13 is automatically the
board.
the new executive board.
Oo.
So, among the new executive board,
They
we
elect the
among
president.
ourselves
Oo.
elected the chairman, the president, the vice president, down the line.
Yung pala yun. Kaya, ang nahalal na chairman si Arnel Hahan, and of course, ang vice president si Yul Benosa, and Oti Kamanggian is the SecGen, with Ricky Palu as the treasurer, and
Yes,
Roger
yes.
Mansuela as the auditor partner. Yun ang nangyari dyan.
Hindi, ano lang kumbaga, was this a stroke of fate? Dahil parang, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. President, Tony.
Yeah.
Sila gumawa ng ruling na doon, kanya-kanyang boto, pero yung lumabas,
Hindi sila.
hindi sila.
Yung ba,
Tama ba yun?
Tama ba yun?
Parang gano'n na nga. dahil nga...
Mali yung play
no?
nila.
Siguro, they were very confident na they will make it. No? Actually, they have a ticket. They have a ticket of 13 people to be elected. No? So,
which they push for. Talagang kinampanya nila yon.
Yes, they were pushing for that one. So, I just don't want to mention the name, siyempre.
Yeah. Of course.
Water under the bridge na yan.
Tapos na yan.
Tapos na yung election, no?
Tapos na yan.
Ito yung, as I can see, no? Yung pictures kayo na flash. We had a courtesy call kay Chairman Pato Gregorio last Wednesday. We went to the PSC, the new museum, isang bagong opisina, which was very beautiful. At pinakita ni Chairman Pato yung bagong gym. I remember it was used to be a volleyball court. I remember the national team was training there. Ngayon, they converted it into a gym. Good. Talagang high technology weights. Talagang napakaganda.
All right.
So, yeah.
Tony Boy, I want to ask you, with your victory, with your slate's victory, no? Anong ibig sabihin nun? Anong significance nun? Especially when you ran under the platform of good governance and transparency. What is the message that the volleyball community is sending out sa ating bansa?
Actually, first of all, what we want here is to unify all the stakeholders all over the Philippines. Kasi siyempre, nagkabotohan kayo. May kanya-kanyang partido, may kanya-kanyang grupo. So, nagkaroon ng split during that election night. So, ngayon kami, gusto namin, we call on the other group, kung sino man sila, to unite for the volleyball, good for the volleyball community, no? Especially sa Pilipinas. As you all know, we have the Alas men's, women's beach teams.
Yes.
That are gonna perform in the coming Southeast Asian Games. They will compete. And then, yung programa na naka-schedule na ng old board, like next year, we will have the VNL, the women naman. Then in 2027, we will again another leg of the VNL. And then in 2029, which hindi na kami ng executive board, kasi by 2028 lang kami, inaward na ng FIBB yung World Championship ng Women.
Okay, yeah.
2029.
2029,
Which was, it's now women. Not like no September, it was men. So ito ngayon, tapos siya nga pala, ang FIBB signed an agreement, contract with PSC, yung kanilang 7-year program.
Wow.
So that will be 7 years, no? So I was asking Chairman Pato the other day, Chairman, bakit 7 years? Ang aming tenure is only up to 2028.
Oo.
So Chairman Pato was explaining the reason why it's a 7-year program because they're looking at Brisbane Olympics. Ang gusto ng FIBB is magkaroon ng the first Philippine Olympic team that will play volleyball in the Olympics.
Wow.
Which is very nice, no? So, talagang supportado tayo ng FIBB ngayon.
Very nice.
Kaya nga, they plan this 7-year program
Oo.
for our national teams, whether men or whether women or whether beach, to qualify in the Brisbane Olympics. So, napaka-maganda.
Yeah, Tony Boy, I just want to ask this, no? Dahil nga last September nagkaroon nga tayo ng Men's World Championship, no? And now that you're the president of PNVF, we had the coach of the men's volleyball team dito, si Frigoni, no?
Oh.
And,
Frigoni, yeah.
and one of his concern is the scheduling of the leagues and the
leagues.
tournaments na nagkakaroon tayo ng problema sa training ng national team. Probably both men's and women's. What are your plans for this? Dahil since you're also president of a chairman of PVL.
Yeah. Actually, okay, nice question, no? Because yesterday, our men's team just finished their training in Taipei in preparation for the Southeast Asian Games. So, they arrived yesterday from the airport. Si Coach met up with us sa PNVF office. So, we discussed about yung tinatanong mga paano itong mga scheduling ngayon, next year. So, actually, he was even asking us, ano ba ang schedule for next year? Ano ba ang schedule ng men's? Kasi he's the head coach of the men's. So, we told him, there's a Asian Senior Men's Championship next year. There's, again, the Southeast Asian V-League. There's the Asian Games. So, it's gonna be a very busy year for the men and the women. So, we sort of like discussed already paano namin gagawin na yung scheduling ng Spikers Turf, which is our men's tournament, and the PBL, which is the women's tournament, para hindi na tayo mag-coincide with the events at the training ng ating alas teams, no? Kasi as you know, yung PBL, we run 3 conferences a year.
Right.
At Spikers Turf naman, we run 2 conferences a year. Yung FIBB kasi, they have this, what they call FIBB calendar. Now, from the first week of May until the last week of October, they call it the national team calendar. Meaning to say, players that plays in the clubs should report back to their national team and play for the national team.
Okay.
So, kung merong mga events of the national team during this period, dapat doon sila maglalaro. Ngayon, from October, 2nd week, up to the 3rd week ng last week of April, yan naman ang sinasabing club team calendar, which is the club team season.
Okay.
So, the national team players should now go back to the club team and play for the club team.
So, susundin nyo yan, Tony?
So, yun nga, this will be a major change.
Yeah, actually, we've been following that, no?
Okay.
Except for this year, we have Ricky Polo being the chairman of being the president of the PBL, sat down with the PNVF. Dahil yung ating SEA Games was happening this December. The problem with the SEA Games, they don't follow the FIBB calendar. Supposed to be October to April is
Club
team.
Club team.
But ang ginawa ng SEA Games, ginawa ng December yung SEA Games.
National yun, champion.
So, national team should play
national
there.
teams yun,
Kaya ang ginawa namin ngayon, para hindi magka-problema with the national team, we sat down with the PNBF board, with Tatsujara, and told him, para hindi tayo magka-problema with the national team playing in the SEA Games, we will start our actually our third conference, which was is the reinforced earlier, para we can end by September. So October, November, December, inyo na yung national
Players,
team work para makapag-train na ng tuloy-tuloy. But unfortunately, we had an agreement, biglang nabago.
Hindi na naman nasunod.
Hindi nasunod. Kaya we were so forced to have our reinforced, sabi nga nila, club team calendar. So we started our reinforced October.
Okay.
Kaya yung mga players ng PBL na were included in the national team pool, hindi makapag-training sa Alas women's team. Because nga sinasabi ng mga club teams, we have the reinforced conference ongoing. So how can they train with the Alas women's team?
Okay.
So yun ang naging problema this time around.
Okay, Tony Boy. Well, having said that, no. Anyway, this international tournaments like the Southeast Asian Games, biennial naman yan eh. Every 2 years, and we all know this will happen sometime end of that year, no? October hanggang December, and even with the Olympics.
Actually, excuse me. It always depends with the host.
Kaya nga, pero normally nga po, sa bandang dulo, wala akong natatandaan na Southeast Asian Games that was
in the first half of the year.
The first half of the year.
Not really. Singapore usually has it June.
Middle, but it's a biennial meet. I agree.
Yeah, every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
So probably, yung ang gusto ko lang sabihin, now under your leadership, maaayos na yung scheduling na yan. Di ba? Talagang way ahead of time. But here's another question, Tony Boy. You're the president now of PNVF, and at the same time, you're the chairman of PVL. And your one of your mandate sa PNVF para palaguin ang sport ng volleyball. Are you okay with adding more leagues, or if there are interested groups who wants to have another tournament or another league under PNBF that would more or less be not competitive but more or less at the same time with PVL being you as chairman?
Okay, actually, right now we have already 12 club teams in the PPL, which is the professional league, no?
Yeah.
So, I don't know really, kasi I know there's an ongoing league, yung kay Senator Manny Pacquiao. Okay. So ngayon, actually, I've already medyo not really officially discussed with him. Kasi by chance, we saw each other at the airport last May. So we talked about volleyball. So sabi nga niya, he has this league. Sabi ko, I hear about your league. Yun lang nga, sabi nga na, yung level of players, hindi yung mga top level, top caliber. So I proposed to him, kung gusto niya, instead of joining the PBL, kasi 12 na kami, na sinasabi naman niya, they only have, I think, around also 8 clubs or 8 teams, no? Kasi siya LGU eh. Most of the club teams, yung mga dinadala, Las Marinas, Quezon, San Juan, so LGU. So ngayon sabi ko sa kanya, baka pwedeng, once let's say, makapupo kami sa PNBF, we will invite his association to join the PNBF, and maybe from that, if they join, pwede namin gawing parang Group B, group yung kanilang league.
So,
para yung mga galing doon, pwedeng mag-draft. Doon sa aming
parang B-League.
Parang B-League sila. Parang ganon.
So, in other words, Tony Boy, you're not averse to additional leagues. Hindi, wala, in your role as the president now, naalam naman natin yan ang sanctioning body yung PNVF. And you're being a chairman of the PVL, hindi ka naman you're not favoring the PVL. Yan. Mas mabuti siguro ang diretsahan. Walang impact sa PVL yan. Hindi dapat matakot ng mga stakeholders, in other words.
Yeah. Kasi, okay, we are being governed by the GAB. Games and Commission Board. So, sinasabi ng GAB, dapat, isa lang ang professional league.
Okay.
Sinasabi sa amin, which is kami. Kasi nakauna kami. I-mandate ng GAB na kami ang professional league. So, actually doon, I don't know if you heard ng PSL, yung Philippine Superliga before.
Yes.
Most of the club teams from there went to us.
Yes.
They wanted to become a professional league also, but unfortunately, the GAB said there should be only one professional league.
Okay.
Kaya hindi nag-materialize na yung PSL na maging professional league.
Alright.
So what happened, yung mga club teams doon like sa amin ngayon, yung Cherry Tigo, yung before F2, before yung Santa Lucia, Signal, PLDT, all of those club teams came from the PSL.
Correct.
Ngayon, nung hindi sila pwede maging professional league, lumipat sa amin.
Alright.
Kaya, gano'n na nangyari.
Sabi mo, Tony mo, you only have a 3-year term up to 2028. Meron naman re-election. May re-election kayo. Pwede naman.
Yes.
Meron pa naman. Okay.
Yes, wala naman.
So,
walang problema with that one.
Is it enough? Tingin mo? Yung
3 years.
Yung 3 years mo lang? Kasi alam naman natin, you have so much
vision
in program. In fact, meron kang nabanggit sa one of your interviews about even auditing the World Cup hosting funds. Sa tingin mo ba lahat ito magagawa ninyo in 3 years, Tony Boy?
If you will tell me, definitely hindi. dahil nga, siyempre, alam mo natin, ang 3 years.
May lang.
Bukas tapos na yung 3 years.
Tama.
So kami, alam mo, Commissioner Noli, at talagang namin dito is, right now nga, we are now, para bang talagang from the day we were elected, the following day, we went to the office. I was with the group of the Mindanao stakeholders. They wanted to see the office in BGC, yung Bonnie Prime Building. Tsaka pa pala, no? The Bonnie Prime Building is owned by the owners of Akari. So, ang ginawa ng Akari, to their very good kindness, no? Yung isang floor doon, pinahihiram sa PNVF.
Wow.
So
Sila Mr. Chris Chu.
Yes. So yung 15th floor is now the permanent office of the PNVF.
I see.
And then yung contract na binigay na is good for 3 years, no? Basta kami magbabayad ng tubig at kuryente at juice. Walang upa sa office space. Just imagine, the whole 15th floor.
Grabe.
Doon kami nag-o-opisina ngayon. Kaya ginawa ng passport ni Tatsuzara, ginawa niyang office noon ng PNVF, ginawa niyang office noon ng local organizing committee ng World Championship, and at the same time, naging part office ng Asian Volleyball Confederation kasi di ba he became president. So yung opisina, because napakalaki, kayang gawin 3 opisina. Kaya napakaganda. So when I brought the new elected executive board members from Mindanao,
buti pa kayo.
Last Saturday, nagulat sila. Ang ganda nito, napakalaki. Actually, I think that was a year ago, we had our ribbon cutting, done by no other than the mayor of Taguig, si Lani Atino, and then Mr. Manny Pangilinan. Nag-ribbon cutting kami. Mismo si Mr. MVP was surprised. Sabi niya, volleyball has a very beautiful office. Hindi daw ang SDP. Ang SDP daw maliit lang.
Hindi lang yun. Buti pa kayo kaysa sa POC. Ang POC, kaya naghahanap pa ng opisina. But anyway, we're running out of time here, Tony. But I want to ask you, as you said, 3 years, you run on a platform of transparency and good governance. Nagpautos ka na meron ng mga courtesy resignations. You're now auditing the past and now you're working on the national team. You're preparing for synchronization of all of your leagues. How do you see volleyball in 3 years? What is your vision in 3 years, Mr. President?
Our vision here is, number one is really palakasin yung national teams.
Yeah.
Kasi without a strong national team, yun ang kumbaga sa salamin ng federation. Diba? You compete regularly most the events, yung mga age group, senior events. Kasi like in other associations, yan ang ginagawa nila. You really perform, you have a very strong national team para mapakita na yung asosasyon is really working. Kasi kung wala kang national team na nagpa-perform outside, wala kang representation sa SEA Games, wala talagang results, walang good results na pwede mong pakita.
Yeah.
Yun ang aming talagang number one here, to have a very good national teams.
Well, we've been looking forward to that, and alam natin sa Southeast Asian Games, kaagad mapapasabak tayo dyan. And we're very, very hopeful that we can make a podium finish for all of our teams, men's, women's, and beach. President Tony Boy was also formerly the president of the beach volleyball, chairman ng Beach Volleyball Council, ng Asian Volleyball Confederation, Asian.
At saka may nag-text rin sa akin dito, Tony Boy, arts and letters kaya ta sa UST, is that right?
Yes.
UST to
UST, go UST, mananalo tayo dyan against UP.
Anong batch ka?
Wag mo na talangin, Tony Boy.
Mamaya na lang.
Kasi sigurado mas matanda ako sa'yo.
Pero mga makikisig pa rin. Tony Boy, congratulations on your presidency.
Thank you very much.
Alam mo, I'm very, very confident volleyball will run very well under your leadership, and we look forward to more success for Philippine volleyball.
Best of luck, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat. Mga kaibigan, ang Pangulo po, ang bagong halal na Pangulo ng Philippine National Volleyball Federation, si Mr. Tony Boy Liao. Alam mo, talagang very humble yan. Very down to earth. At saka yan, walang pasikot-sikot. Kung ano yung naiisip niya, yun nasasabihin niya. Kaya,
maganda yan. Hindi masyado namumulitika, pero ang talagang nasa utak niya, yung palakasin yung national teams natin.
Tama.
And I agree. That would mirror the program of Philippine volleyball.
At saka kasi naman, ang grassroots talaga is taken care of by the schools.
Yes.
Hindi na sila kailangan makialam dyan diba? Ayun namang commercial level, may mga liga na yan, and then the professional level. Kaya yung federation, talagang sa national team. And hopefully, matapos na rin ang mga dilihensya dyan sa volleyball na yan.
No.
Hindi pala. Alright mga kapatid, bago tayo magpatuloy, isa muna pong paalala mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Giga Life app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Giga Life app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network, one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live more today! When we return, cash or bash time, at mamaya po, the head coach of the Ateneo Blue Eagles, Coach Tab Baldwin. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Photon, Joyride, at ng N Plus Gold. Ang oras po natin, 8:43 ng umaga. This time check is brought to you by Ultima.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai's stories on Twitter and share yours with Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple. Smart ako.
Ito ang programang inaabangan, mga paborito mong paligsahan.
Nakikinig pala talaga kayo! Maraming salamat po at sinasamahan nyo kami sa 105.9 True FM. Dito tayo sa totoo.
Belle here. You know my favorite part about the holidays? Sharing moments with Dunkin'. Hot choco with Mama's Noche Buena. Choco BTN for game night with cousins. And buckets of munchkins for family reunions. There's nothing like sharing holiday moments with Dunkin'. Ma, I'm home! At dala ko favorite mong pasalubong ng bayan. Dunkin'! Hey, it's Belle Mariano with a friendly reminder from your Dunkin' fam. Ingat sa biyahe!
Prepare delightful dishes every time with Technogas Technique appliances. Experience excellent cooking results with Technogas Technique's premium selection of cooking ranges, range hoods, built-in hobs, ovens, and kitchen appliances. Technogas Technique combines elegance, functionality, safety, and durability to enhance your skills and passion for cooking. Make Technogas Technique your cooking partner and fill your kitchen with appliances made to last. That's the Technogas Technique.
Wow! Burr months na! Ang bilis ng panahon. Parang lahat rush. Oh, don't stress. Ang sagot dyan, balanse sa buhay. Parang paglaro ng Bingo Plus. When gaming, dapat balanse din. Hindi to dapat makaapekto o pumalit sa oras para sa pamilya, kaibigan o trabaho. When you game responsibly, tuloy lang ang saya.
Visit www.pagcor.ph/regulatory. Keep it fun at pagcor.ph. Responsible gaming at pagcor.ph. Gambling is for 21 years old and above only.
Gambling can be addictive. Know when to stop.
Belle here. You know my favorite part about the holidays? Sharing moments with Dunkin'. Hot choco with Mama's Noche Buena. Choco BTN for game night with cousins. And buckets of munchkins for family reunions. There's nothing like sharing holiday moments with Dunkin'. Ma, I'm home! At dala ko favorite mong pasalubong ng bayan. Dunkin'!
Bossing, baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom, tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and play with Com Noli Iyala.
Tinig, talakayin natin ang laro. Gusto mo, pag-usapan natin. Ibida ang hilig ng bawat
magkabigat kada kayo. Amen. Apo, sa ating po mga suki mula sa San Esteban, Ilocos Sur, and of course sa Lawag, Ilocos Norte. Kamusta po kayong lahat dyan? Uy nga pala, bukas merong malaking pagtitipon ng protesta ha. Gawin po nating mahinahon. Alam natin na marami po tayong mga issue sa ating bayan ngayon, pero hindi po kailangan ng violence, hindi po kailangan ng karahasan. Gawin po nating mahinahon at tayo po ay magpakita ng ating pong galit kung tayo galit. Pero ating pong gawin ito sa tamang pamamaraan at sa legal na pamamaraan.
Yung tinutukoy ni partner Noli, yung tinatawag nilang Trillion March. Kaya sana naman ay mapayapa. No? Dahil siyempre ayaw naman natin ng gulo. Diba? Siguro naman talagang nuot na sa pakiramdam ng kasalukuyang administrasyon ang hinaing ng taong bayan.
Kaya nga itong t-shirt ko, partner. Focus mo nga direct. Focus mo. Yan,
Less noise, more clarity.
Yan po ang ating gawin. Huwag masyadong maingay. Pero magpaliwanag tayo ng mabuti.
Na ganun din ang dapat ipaliwanag din ito mga nandarambong na po.
Tayo mag-demand ng paliwanag. Dahil hindi po pwede yung puro ingay lamang at puro lang po pamumulitika. Alright, balik tayo sa sports. Mga kapatid, partner.
Bigla kang busanan si kayo namin. May Talentligan, Pangasinan. Talenteron na lalawigan na probinsya ng Pangasinan. Natan, bali-bali lang panahon na medyo ang betel. Ang batal malamig.
Malamig.
Kaya
lumalamig na talaga eh.
Lumalamig na talaga.
26 days na lamang po, Pasko na eh.
Naku, suseryoso.
Kaya medyo, nga pala, talking about Pasko, nag-Christmas party kahapon, ang aming pong grupo ng mga kaibigan natin sa media. And of course, gusto natin magpasalamat kay partner Elmer Ngo, kay Kuyang Jotel Duray at kay Ate Jika Galupan.
Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat sa pag-host.
Being a very gracious host.
Talagang saksakan ang daming pagkain doon.
Alam ko lang, dapat yung nag-Sharon Cuneta ako dapat kahapon eh. Wala lang akong dalawang Tupperware.
Alam mo, nasa kotse ko na yung aking shopping bag eh. Inaidala ko sana lahat ng mga alimangong hindi nakain doon eh. Alright.
Oy, partner, may babatiin lang ako. Siguro kaidadan to ni PNVF President Tony Liao. Ito naman mga kinikilala ko mga kaibigan at parang kuya, no? Kasama natin sa Forest Hills. Former FEU standout na point guard during the 70s at naglaro sa Mika noong Solid Mills. Nanonood palagi sa atin. Si Mr. Danny Manalastas. Galing rin maglaro niyan. At isa pa, yung kasama ko dati sa San Miguel, na dating 1978 San Miguel Braves sa Mika, former Lasal.
Kasama nila Dave Reguliano yan.
Yes, kumbaga, regular rin na nanonood ng programa natin. Si Mr. Manny Liwag.
Si Manny.
Si Manny Liwag.
Manny Liwag.
Nanonood sa programa natin yan.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Kuyang.
Ayan. And also, happy birthday sa aking batchmate na nasa California ngayon, si Mr. Dong Pineda. Napakabait na tao.
Nakamusta po natin lahat ng mga suki natin na nakatutok po lagi sa atin tuwing Sabado. At para bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating susunod na segment, syempre, paalala po ang Joyride ngayon pong Kapaskuhan. Syempre, patuloy po ang ating Joyride Top-Up promo sa Power and Play. Napakadali pong manalo ng 1,000 pesos JRPay wallet credits. Mag-download lamang po ng latest version ng Joyride Super App. Kuhanan ng screenshot ang app's home screen. Ipadala ang screenshot via PM sa Power and Play FB page. Kasama po ng inyong buong pangalan at registered mobile number. At meron na po kayong chansang manalo ng 1,000 pesos JRPay wallet credits na inyong po magagamit sa Joyride Delivery, Joyride Motorcycle Taxi, Joyride Taxi Cab, Joyride Car at ang Joyride Super Taxi. 5 po ang ating pipiliin at the end of the show. Alright, at this point, siyempre, pasok na natin po ang ating paboritong segment, ang Casio Bash.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
At ang Casio Bash ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo, Love Your Journey. At ngayong araw pong ito, solo flight ng ating pong special guest na ako'y suki naman natin dito sa Power and Play. Ang ating pong kaibigan at Spin.ph, mula sa Spin.ph ang Assistant Managing Editor ng Spin.ph. Walang iba kung hindi si Kate Reyes. Good morning, Kate!
Morning, Kate!
Good morning, sirs!
Merry Christmas! Ang tagal na natin hindi nagkita.
Alright.
Opo, iba na ang kulay ng buhok ko.
Aba, lumalapit ka na sa akin.
Alam mo, inulahan mo lang ako, Kate, ha? Sabi ko ba, parang ibang aura mo ngayon, ha?
Uy, UST pala yan, ha? USTC.
Opo.
Kaya pala. The golden hair.
The golden hair. Maganda, aantayin ko yung kanyang sagot sa Casio Bash.
Sa Casio Bash mamaya. Pero bago natin puntahan yung mga Casio Bash, meron ako, kasi to si Kate, alam ko nakatutok to lagi kay Alex Ayala. Alam natin yan. Kaya pag nakikita ko si Alex, alam ko na itong si Kate, nakatutok dito. Alam mo, nagpaplano ngayon at tuloy na nga yung Philippine Women's Championship ng WTA, WTA 125 event na mangyayari sa end of January. Inanunsyo na yan ng PHILTA at saka ng PSC. Anong inaabangan mo dyan, Kate? Of course, outside of the confirmation ni Alex, pero anong significance sa tingin mo nitong WTA event na ito?
Unang-una, ang laking bagay nito kasi 'di ba for the longest time nawala sa atin yung mga Davis Cup, yung mga ganun. Kumbaga nawalan tayo ng action sa local tennis. Lagi lang international yung mga tournaments na nilalaroan. So, more than the competition itself, this sends a statement that we're making a stronger comeback sa tennis. And also, I've talked to a few managers, yung mga clubs dito, yung mga tennis clubs like sa Valle and others. Dumadami daw yung mga inquiries nila So, good thing yan para sa atin. Hindi lang para sa mga players, kundi doon sa future generations to come na interesadong maglaro ng tennis.
Oo. Talagang kumbaga, historic partner.
Yes. Oo naman.
Sipin mo.
Kung hindi dahil kay Alex Ayala.
Oo. All of a sudden, nasa mapa tayo ng tennis. Of course, we're all looking forward to seeing Alex. Alam mo, I've spoken to Alex and lagi niya sinasabi, ang kanyang pinagdarasal, magkaroon siya ng home tournament.
Yeah.
And this could be finally it, di ba?
Yes.
Kasi yung mga big time players, may mga home tournaments sila kung saan andun sila sa bansa nila.
Yes.
Tayo ngayon,
meron na rin tayong ganyan.
meron na rin tayo. Although, pag naglalaro naman si Alex, ang dami-daming Pilipino.
Yes, yung sa Hong Kong, 'di ba? Ang daming pumunta.
Ang dami talaga. Oo. Kulang na lang doon maglagay ng bayanihan doon parang yung magsayawan na doon Kaya nakakatuwa, but hopefully nga matuloy. Of course, we're still waiting for the announcement nung venue, kung ayos na ang venue dahil ang balita natin kay Chairman Pato,
pinapaayos.
Oo.
Nagpapagawa ng bleacher. Samantalang sa iba, hindi naman ganun kalaki.
Oo. Pero alam mo, sa tingin ko, pag naglaro si Alex, kukulangin ng MOA
Baka may widescreen pa sa labas.
Oo, diba? Actually, doon sa Hong Kong, may ganun. May widescreen sa labas. Kaya, well, it will be very interesting. Kaya aabangan natin yan. End of January, sabi na January 26 to 31, dito po sa Manila, ang Philippine Women's Championship ng WTA. Alright, simulan na tayo sa ating Casio Bash. Kate, alam mo na ang drill dito. Walang tama, walang mali. Bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, magagalit. And of course, ang opinion mo lamang ang mahalaga. Let's start with our first COB item of the morning. All set na. Ito na. All set na ang final 4 ng UAAP Basketball Tournament. Nako Lasal NU, UST, UP. Grabe. So, cash o bash? Bagamat may twice to beat advantage ang NU at ang UP, matutulak sa do or die matches ang tapatan nila ng Lasal at ng UST. Go, Kate!
Cash agad yan. Napag-uusapan nga namin during the run of the season, since yung era nila Kiefer, ito yung pinaka-competitive na journey towards the Final Four So, this is really something. Unang-una, this works well for NU kasi the last thing they want is a semis match-up against UP kasi kontrapelo talaga nila yung UP na yan But now, with the series of events, maganda ito for them and very likely yan. So, first, NU and Lasal, although 2-0, Kian Baclaan, who's with Lasal now, is marking his return.
Oo nga.
For the NU game, who is a former NU, di ba? NU Ganda yan, alma mater niya, former alma mater and top seed yung NU. And then the other matchup, UP and UST. Nasubaybayan natin yan since the preseason. Maganda lagi yung laban ng UP UST. Dikit na dikit lagi. And for the longest time, laging nananalo yung UST. So UST seems to get it over the defending champions until their last game. So that makes it even more thrilling kasi kaya nila at dapat abangan lalo. Pati yung mga UST players, kabado sila na UP yung mga katapat nila eh.
Partner?
Actually, Kate, I agree with you.
Siyempre, agree ka.
Siyempre naman. UST. But, I have a very close friend na taga-UP. After na, nung Final Four, sinabi, pustahan tayo breakfast.
Okay.
Sabi ko, game. Basta kapag manalo ang UP, sa fast food tayo. Kung manalo UST, sa hotel. Yeah, but you know, it's yung highly unpredictable ang capabilities ng 4 teams. Kumbaga talagang
anybody can win.
Anybody can win. That makes it more exciting. I just hope that there will be a 2 games to beat. Parang dahil siyempre kapag isang talo lang ng Lasal or UST tapos na di ba? So I hope it would reach to a
second game. Do or die.
Do or die.
Well, ako basically if you really go, NU has been a terrific team. Grabe ang kanilang galing. We can see it. Ang laki ng development, especially ni Jake Figueroa. Naungusan siya sa MVP. Pero he is grabe, ang galing ng batang yon. And of course, it's well coached by Coach Jeff Napa. Pero Lasal has momentum, alam mo. Dahil naiwasan nila yung ladder, yung knockout games. I think they're very, very excited now to play dito sa Final Four. Sa kabilang dako naman, yung UP, alam naman natin, defending champion. So much pride in that team. They have picked up their pace. Ang ganda ng mga nilalaro ng buong koponan, pero ang UST parang ding kontrapelo ng UP, and we know that Howe has been dominant, also Nick Cabanyero, pambihira ang kanilang mga paglalaro. I think, sabi niyo nga, highly unpredictable. Ako ang aking prediction, one of the series will go down for sure in a do or die. Hindi ko lang sasabihin. At isang series, ang sinasabi ko na yung kung sino ang mananalo doon, hindi mananalo ng championship.
Narinig na po wala na si Madam Mauri.
Tama, wala akong mali dyan. Alright, let's go to our second Casio Bash of the morning. Nako, ito naman ay basketball pa rin. At nangyari to kagabi, kung saan tinambakan ng Gilas Pilipinas ang Guam 87-46. Malapit naman pala. Lapit lang.
Sabi ni Jericho, tatalulin nilang Gilas.
Diba? 41 lang. Sa unang laro ng FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers window. Kung saan, ang dami natin nakita mga player. Pero ito ang tanong, Casio Bash. Dapat ibabad ni Coach Tim Ko ng mga young guns katulad ni na RJ Abarientos at QMB para mapaghandaan ang future ng national team since mukha namang kayang-kaya. Go, Kate!
Kaching-kaching cash ulit tayo dyan. So again, last night's game is a testament. Yun nga, 87-46. Sabi nyo nga, hindi naman nagkakalayo. Pero grabe, solid debut from QMB. 6 points and 10 rebounds, which makes it 61 for Gilas, which is a new rebounding record in a FIBA Asian qualifier. RJ, of course, had proven reliable then during that game. Right now, it's a mixture of Junmar, Scotty, and the other veterans with the young guys pa rin doing the work. Pero eventually, it's time to look ahead So tama na ibabad these young players, and anyway, when you talk to them and when you watch them, nakikita mo naman na they have good attitude towards learning like equipping themselves with the right knowledge. Yun nga, sponge-like tawag nila dyan sa mga players, diba? And yun, lahat ng mga kausap mo, they love learning from Coach Tim Cone anyway. So, bright future ahead for Gilas 12, for our Gilas.
Absolutely. Partner, talagang mukhang nakakuha sila ng magandang formula, lalong-lalo na pagpasok ni QMB.
Oo, dahil pareho ng kahit ni Junmar,
Yes.
'di ba? Tumatakbo,
Oo.
'di ba?
Rim protector.
Yeah, but I semi-agree with Kate, no, with regards na dapat ibabad ni Coach Tim Cone yung mga young guns. I guess we know Tim Cone. Talagang tinitingnan niya kung sino yung talagang matuturuan, maibababad, kung sinong hindi look, hindi nga niya sinama si JDL, 'di ba? Because these players must earn their seat. 'Di ba? Kumbaga not necessarily kailangan ibabad, ipakita mo na dapat kitang ibababad.
Earn your spot.
Earn your spot. Earn your spot. That's my point there.
Well, I agree. I mean, this is the time. Kung meron panahon para magbabad ng mga young players, this is the time.
Yeah.
Although alam naman natin din ang estilo ni Coach Tim Cone.
Yes,
na ito, sa lahat ng game, sa kanya, walang maliit na game.
Kailangan panalo.
Sabi nga niya, this is an important stepping stone in the puzzle going to the Olympics.
Yes.
Sinabi ni Coach Tim Cone na yan. So every game for him is very important. Kaya nga, bagamat gusto nating ibabad niya sila Abarientos, they will, as you said, they will have to earn it kay Tim, yung trust niya na they are better in that situation over like a guy like Scotty Thompson or even Chris Newsome, di ba? Or QMB over AJ Edu or even Junmar or Japet. Oh, di ba? Kaya again, we love it. We hope that magpatuloy to. We are seeing really the future na alam mo, excited ako, Kate. Dahil isipin mo, pag pumasok pa si Kai Soto, QMB, AJ Edu, yung tatlong yun, pillars mo, tapos meron ka pang papasok ng mga naturalized and this is an exciting time. Oo, kompletong-kompleto na to. Let's see. Hopefully nga ay magpatuloy ang ating success and makapasok tayo, hindi lamang sa World Cup, kundi sa Olympics. Alright, let's go to our third and final COB of the morning. Ito, punta pa rin tayo sa basketball pero sa ibang bansa naman. Yan, ha? Walang makakatapat sa talent at lalim ng roster ng Oklahoma City Thunder ngayong taon. Alam nyo ba, ang record niyan, 17 wins and 1 loss. Pambihira. Ha? Lang yan. Kaya nga sabi natin, talagang pambihira ang ginagawa. Casio Bash, Mabibreak, ha? Naku, talaga namang Mabibreak ng defending champion ang 73-9 best regular season record ng Golden State Warriors. Casio Bash, Kate, go!
Actually, dito ako napaisip talaga sa tanong na to kasi ang hirap i-take pero okay, wild talaga yung 18-1 record to start in the West, and if we're talking about good starts, this is probably one of the best ones, di ba? But the 73-9 by GSW in 2015, grabe, pero okay, risk taker tayo, Cash. I just remember, Jalen Williams, who missed the first 19 games, just came back. So it gets better for them. Very flexible si Jalen Williams as a primary ball handler. Do it all, di ba? Yun nga. So, ang record ng OKC last year, 68-14 sa regular season. So, kaya nila with a more complete roster ngayon, di ba? So, mas kaya nila. So, yes, for me, Cash, and defensively, they're covered without a doubt. Offensively, it's good, but it can get better. I think fourth pa rin sila sa ratings niyan sa offensive. And then, of course, you have SGA. You can't underestimate that guy. So, I've talked to a couple of analysts then prior to the start of the season. I had the chance to cover sila Steve Nash, sila Dirk Nowitzki, and they all think it's OKC again this year.
Wow.
So, yun yung mga iba-vouch natin. Siyempre, mas alam nila yan kaysa sa akin. So, naniniwala kita.
Partner?
Okay, unang-una yan, records are meant to be broken.
Yan, okay.
Kaya pwede. Tapos, right now, at 17-1.
18-1 pala.
18-1. 18-1. Ang tatalo nila 73-9, di ba? Pero, they have 8 more, possibility na matalo. Now, kung tama ang math ko,
Okay.
di ba?
Magaling ka ba sa math?
Hindi nga.
Pare-pareho po pala tayo.
Kung pagpalagay mo nga, 17, times 9, 153 yung chances na malalaro over na over sa 73. Aba kung tama to, no? Kumbaga, over the course of the season, pwede nila makuha.
Well, alam mo, right now, according to experts, they're on pace to make a record 77-5. That is the pace that they're going right now. They have a 10-game winning streak. Ang kanilang point differential is 16.5 points. In other words, sa bawat kalaban nila, tinatambakan nila ng 16, almost 17 points a game. Ganong kagaling itong OKC. At sabi nga ni Kate, hindi pa naglalaro si Jalen Williams doon.
Diba?
Kapapasok pa lamang. SGA is on a historic pace. 16 30-point games. Si Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the first in his first 19 games, only one other player has done that. Michael Jordan. At yung record pace nila ngayon na 18-1, only 4 teams have done this. Yung Golden State Warriors, yung kay Michael Jordan, and a couple more teams, no, na nagsimula ng ganito sa season. But remember, nung hinabol ng Golden State, yung 73-9, hindi sila nag-champion, partner. Doon yung historic Game 7 win ng Cleveland. So that is something that dapat isipin ng OKC. Ang sabi ng marami, no need to run after the record. Siguraduhin mo lang magkampiyon by resting some of your players.
Priority, di ba?
Diba? Yan ang priority. Kaya ako, kung ang tanong is, mabibreak ba nila? I think they can, but they won't. Dahil ipapahinga nila ang mga player nila sa dulo. That is my feeling. Kasi nga, gusto nila maging fresh when they start the playoffs. So I feel, at the end of the season, nila yan, ipapahinga na nila. And maybe that's the time na makakakuha sila ng konting talo na maaring hindi makatulong sa kanilang paghangad, ma-break yung 73-9.
Okay. Sa akin, may dadagdag lang ako, no? Because of what's happening right now with the OKC, sa akin lang, I want to knock on the doors of the GM and the team owner. Diba? Pagkakataon nyo na yan na ayusin nyo yung marketing nyo para kasing level kayo ng Golden State, ng Chicago Bulls, diba? Ng Celtics, Lakers, and the New York Knicks. Bihira mangyari to Kaya kailangan ayusin nyo yung marketing nyo. Pagwapuhin nyo ng gusto yung mga magagaling yung players.
And this is a very young team at
marami this is a very young team.
Taon ito mag-aari maging dominating.
Yeah.
Well, Kate, maraming salamat. It has been a fun morning. Hopefully, we will see you sa mga laro and of course sa mga sulat. Kami patuloy nakatutok sa Spin.ph. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. Go UST.
Merry Christmas.
Have a nice day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Mga kaibigan, si Kate Reyes, ang assistant editor ng Spin.ph. Nasa sa Casio Bash natin. And of course, marami pa tayong mapag-uusapan, partner. Alam mo, yung NBA, maraming laro po ngayong araw na to. Emirates NBA Cup ang mga laro today. Kaya napakarami na nagaganap. One of the big games today, yung Spurs versus Nuggets. Winner goes to the NBA Cup. Ang isa pang malaking laro, yung dalawang yung Thunder versus the Phoenix Suns. Winner also goes to the NBA Cup. So napakaraming maaaring mangyari today. Abangan nyo po, tutukan nyo ang NBA. Alright, we will take a break. Pero bago po yan, syempre, panoorin muna natin ang ating mga viral videos at pop culture sa mundo ng palakasan sa Stop and Pop.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Ang title po ng video natin ngayon ay Smooth Operator. Highlight on the word operator. Panoorin niyo po itong video na to. Hindi lang sa Formula 1 may smooth operator. Dito rin sa video na ito. Ayan dahil mukhang ordinary billiards highlight lang siya sa unang tingin. Yan, akala nyo Yung pala, pag zoom out ang camera, makikitang backhoe ang tumitira. Hindi po tao yun. Yan, kita nyo, akala nyo tao. Yung pala, backhoe.
Paano na ba nakapasok yung backhoe dyan sa bilyaran na yan?
Naguhukay. Muntik na masira yung lamesa.
Yung tapete. Mahal yung tapete ang tawag dyan,
Yan po ang talaga. Pero ang hirap na kung kontrolin mo yung
Oo naman.
Yan po ang talagang tawag na smooth operator. Alright. When we return, Coach Tabwin will be with us. Kasama na po ang Philippine cricket team mamaya para pag-usapan ng Southeast Asian Games campaign nila. We'll take a quick break. Ang oras po natin, 9:30 ng umaga. Magbabalik po ang Power and Play.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai's stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Nasa kanan na po ng FM band sa 105.9. Dito tayo sa totoo.
Belle here. You know my favorite part about the holidays? Sharing moments with Dunkin'. Hot choco with Mama's Noche Buena. Choco BTN for game night with cousins. And buckets of munchkins for family reunions. There's nothing like sharing holiday moments with Dunkin'. Ma, I'm home! At dala ko favorite mong pasalubong ng bayan. Dunkin'! Hey, it's Belle Mariano. There's nothing like a Dunkin' treat today.
Ang oras, 9:15.
Ang oras sa True FM ay hatid sa inyo ng
He's a guy that needs work on his shot, but his court game, his all-around court game, and his defense are both strong. Joaquin Espina, as a sophomore, had an outstanding season, and these are both guys that, along with Jared Bahai and the continued development of Divine Adili, they can be the core of a good roster next year. I think the area of concern is the power forward position, because we lose we lose Kai Ladi, and Dom Escobar played some power forward for us this year. Josh Lazaro is also a power forward.
Yeah.
So, we thin out at that position, but we've got some kids in the B team, and Drew Bongo again, has to step up and become more consistent at the offensive end. But Drew is really one of our core guys in terms of coachability and doing exactly what we want on the floor, but he's just got to hit the shot more consistently.
Right.
He didn't have a good year shooting the ball, and we think he can be a very good shooter. So it's trying to unwrap that for him and hope that he can step up and be the shooter we believe he can be. So the core is there, and I like that core. They defend, they're tough. And also Ian Espinoza, who a lot of people discount, but he was a very, very solid player for us this year in the backup point guard position.
Yeah.
And gave us some very good games and quality minutes, great defender and a good leader. So I think that, the makings are there of a more experienced team, and a team that will grow from the experiences this year.
In reality, when you look at your games, Tab, you had a couple of really close games, couple of overtime losses that could have been won in regulation, couple of course, victories also that were very close. But in general, Ateneo really was very competitive here. But again, one of the issues has always been recruitment and continuity of your program. We know what happened, of course, to Dwight Ramos. We know what happened to Mason. And all of that obviously affected the continuity of your program. But you've said something in your exit interview that is very significant, which is you said you will never pursue players for transfer. It will always be recruitment, either if it's a one and done freshman or from your B team, but never to recruit players from other teams. That says a lot. Is that a victim talking or an advocate talking?
Or a strong message?
That's a great question, Dolly, but it's definitely an advocate. I just don't think it's right. If I didn't win the recruiting battle, it ends there for me. If a player chooses another school, then that's his prerogative, that's his choice. And I think he lives with that choice. And if he decides somewhere down the track, as Dave Ildefonso did, to review that decision and approach us and say, look, I'm not happy where I'm at, that's fine, that happens. And I think that was the case with Mason primarily. So I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think that it's ethical to approach a player in another university who is given no indication that they're unhappy to us. Even if there is a rumor out there that a player is unhappy, it's hands off for me. Until that player or his handlers reach out to us, we don't enter that arena, and I just don't think it's ethical. Simple as that. So there's plenty of players out there in the Phil Foreign landscape and here in the Philippines, and I think we've got to do a better job here in the Philippines, recruiting the provinces. But of course, the fact that we expect players to be absolutely and truly student athletes when they come here, that eliminates some players.
Right.
And everybody knows that. It's not, we're not talking out of school here, but it is a real thing. And so there's a lot of kids we would love to recruit, but when we dig into the background, we realize that they just don't have the academic background to survive at Ateneo, and that wouldn't be fair for the kid, and it wouldn't be fair to our program.
You were given a fresh 3-year extension, Coach Tab, and congratulations for that. And we certainly are happy that you have remained, especially for all Ateneans, that you're still part of the Ateneo program. What are your plans to make the most of these 3 years, Tab? What are you looking at right now, and how do you see this as really, I guess, buttressing the program and getting back to the Final Four?
I think it isn't that big an issue, to be honest, Noli. I mean, it removes some uncertainty from the program, and for our recruiting, that's important. But the continuity of having been here 10 years, coached 9 years with the pandemic, I'm just like a piece of the furniture, and I think it would be a big thing if I wasn't here, and that day, of course, is going to come at some point. But, I just do my job. I love my job. I know that I'm a good basketball coach, but the assessment of that is always going to be externally what your win-loss record is. And you alluded earlier to the fact that we had a lot of close games. We had a lot of tough losses. We played 5 overtime periods this year, which is a lot in a 14-game season. And we came out on the positive side of that only once. So I think, that we have to turn good performances into good results.
Right.
I'm pleased with the fact that the majority of our performances were good performances. But of course, I'm not pleased that we didn't turn these into results. And I think we need to be a better fourth quarter team. And in order to do that, I think our fitness has to improve. I think our cohesion, our chemistry has to improve. So when the pressure really comes on in games, we don't become too individualistic, and we have a greater reliance on what we've worked on in practice and how we perform as a team in critical moments. So these are, lessons for me taking out of this year, and things that we will work hard on for next year.
Just one question, Coach, out of curiosity. Do you still have any other one-and-done players for the next season, or
coming in? Yeah.
At this point, we don't have one-and-dones. We've got one player in our B team, Logan Baltazar, that will be 2, possibly 3 and done. And of course, part of that is his decision as well. We are looking at the U.S. basketball landscape, and particularly graduating seniors, and there's a few out there. So some of that has to do if they really want to extend their career another year, if they're interested in playing pro ball in Asia. It's a really good entry for them to come to a university for 1 year. But I think there's a greater premium on character when you get one-and-dones, and we were very fortunate this year with the 2 we got out of University of California at Los Angeles, Dom Escobar and Jaden Lazo. They just were super people and really good basketball players. And of course, Kai fits into that category as well, but we had him for 2 years effectively. So our experience is good, but the fact that if they come in June after they graduate from college, it does present some chemistry problems, and therefore we would look at maybe how many we would have at the same time. That could be an issue.
All right. You mentioned these players, particularly Kai Ladi and Don Escobar, Coach Tab, and you said in one of your interviews that they not only enhanced your team, not only the Ateneo community, but also your life personally, Coach Tab. Now Kai is in the Gilas program. He'll be part of the Southeast Asian Games. Your thoughts about that, and how far this player can go in the professional league?
Well, look, these 2 guys have, again, when they come in, these are not 18-year-olds. So these are 23-year-old men, and there's a big difference. And I coached so long in the professional ranks and the international ranks. It was really refreshing for me to be able to develop the relationships I did with these guys, and I consider them my friends now. These are the kind of guys I want at my dinner table, in my house, around my children, around my family. They're just exceptionally fine people. They're a reflection of their parents and the families they grew up within, and they were huge assets to our team. And I can't say enough about them, and I think I hopefully sum it up very well just by saying that, you know, they would be welcome in my home at any time. And because of that experience, you know, we would look at more. But again, you also have to reflect on the impact that they have on your team. But as far as their future, these guys are going to be outstanding pros. And I know the PBA draft isn't until 2027, probably, but it's exciting for them, and they'll continue to play basketball, whether that's MPBL or, you know, pick up something back in the States and in, you know, one of the satellite leagues that are played over there.
Yeah.
But these guys will be raring to go, and if one of them or both of them, you know, gets an opportunity in Gilas, I know they would be thrilled with that opportunity. And as far as the SEA Games, I still don't know what, you know, the organizers are going to do with the eligibility rules. If Kai gets a chance, I'm sure he would be thrilled to go. I would love to see them go as far as they can in the sport. And, you know, I've told them that I'll be a resource for them at any point that they choose to need me.
One question before my final question is, it's Final Four. Of course, we were, you know, a lot of the Ateneo fans were hoping that the Ateneo was be part of that Final Four. Now that the cast is set, NU, LaSalle, UP, UST, what do you think? I'm not going to ask your prediction here. I'm just going to ask you, what do you think will be the key to these matchups, Coach Tab?
Well, I mean, I'm prepared to be proven wrong, but because, you know, I'm not a crystal ball gazer, but the experience in the backcourt of NU and UP and UST, I think, stands out of this Final Four. But the talent of LaSalle is probably as good as any. And Mike Phillips himself can always be, you know, a guy that separates that team from the field. So I will go way out on a limb here, because I rarely do this, but being out of the Final Four and nothing to lose, and Noli, for you, buddy, you know, if it gets you a little bit of ratings, why not?
Let me hear this.
I think UP is probably the team that has the best chance to get there, because they do have this super experienced guard lineup, but they also have one heck of a front line. And although they don't have tremendous experience in that front line, you know, Gani Stevens and Naruka and Sean Alter and Mark Belmonte, and, you know, you can just keep going. The kid Miguel Iñiguez has come on in the second half of the season. And you put those guys with that guard lineup, I think Alarcon is probably the #1 winner in the UP, and Ray Romagad has fit into that roster. He's just a real hard guard. And of course, Jerry Abajano is
Fortea.
You know,
Terrence Fortea.
These guys are super basketball players, and they're the defending champions. But I promise you this, the pathway is not easy. And if you're a betting man, I might put my bottom dollar back in my pocket, because this is going to be a great Final Four.
It will be. And certainly we're looking forward to the Final Four, but of course we're certainly looking forward to Ateneo next year, and hopefully you know, a renewed season. But in the meantime, enjoy your Christmas season, Coach Tab. We hope to see you in the golf course now. And get a little bit of that drive, that 270-yard drive back in the course. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noli. I appreciate it. You guys take care.
Take care now. Well, kaibigan, ang head coach ng Ateneo Blue Eagles, Coach Tab Baldwin. It was a season that was very tough, as we can see. Again, yung continuity of the program ng Ateneo has been disrupted. But as he said, you know, marami pang players na pwedeng magbumuhat sa kanilang team next year.
And one good thing, for me, parang nabura yung image nung nangyari sa Ateneo the previous season with their showing in this current
Tandaan natin, bottom sila last year.
Exactly.
At least ngayon nasa 6th, di ba?
Medyo nabura yung...
And they were knocking on the Final Four.
Yes.
Alright, mga kapatid, mukhang ready na tayo. Pero bago po yan, syempre, sumilip muna tayo sa ating pong mga kaganapan sa mundo ng palakasan sa ating susunod na segments this week in sports history.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Okay, balikan muna natin ang best moments sa kasaysayan ng palakasan sa This Week in Sports History. November 27, 1870 or 155 years ago, binansagan ng New York Times ang baseball bilang national game ng Amerika. Walang opisyal na national sport ang US pero kinikilala ang sport na yan bilang America's best pastime. Yun nga lang, higit 1.5 siglo matapos mabansagang national game, naungusan na ng popular culture ang baseball. Pagdating sa professional level, mas susundan ng tao ang mga American football at basketball. Pero di pwedeng itanggi ng cultural at traditional impact ng baseball sa kasaysayan ng US sports. New York Times declares baseball as national game in This Week in Sports History.
Actually, hanggang ngayon pa naman, partner. It's still baseball.
Baseball pa rin.
Tinitinghala ng mga Amerikano as their game. Ika nga.
Yes.
Although, kasi iba na rin ang commercial value ng baseball compared sa mga ibang sports.
Sa basketball, pati yung rubber shoes na bebenta mo. Hindi ka naman pwede maglakad na may mga spikes sa labas. Di ba?
Di ba? Ibang-iba na yung mga aspects ng sports. Alright, at this point, mga kapatid, let's bring in our final guest of the day. Sa ating pong itatampok muli ang ating patuloy na pagsunod sa mga ating mga kupunan na lalahok sa Southeast Asian Games sa Thailand. Dito po sa ating In the Spotlight.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Nasa spotlight po ngayong linggo ang ating Philippine cricket team na sasabak sa Southeast Asian Games, and we'd like to welcome now our special guest from the Philippine cricket team, the head coach, Mr. Jonathan Gabila Hill, Mr. Henry Yamsuan Tyler, ang ating captain ng men's team, and the captain of or part of the women's team, Angela Busa of the Philippine national team. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Power and Play.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. Well, let me begin this with I guess with Coach Jonathan here. I want to ask you, what are the foundations? Because cricket is not a very popular sport in the Philippines. What are the foundations of cricket in the Philippines, and how do you actually get players to play this game that obviously is not very, very well known among many young people here in this country?
I'm loving the footage, by the way, if everyone's watching that. The sport of cricket is growing in the Philippines, but you're 100% right. At the moment, it doesn't have the prestige of cricket. However, there is a lot of work behind the scenes with the Philippine Cricket Association. They are doing a lot of developmental work in the Philippines, reaching out to schools and communities, spreading the word of cricket and getting people involved. Our involvement in these upcoming SEA Games is crucial, and we think we've got a really good, strong squad that can perform, and hopefully on the back of that success we're going to inspire more Filipinos, not only in the Philippines but all around the world, to participate. Our squad's made up of players from Manila, as well as New Zealand, England, and parts of Australia, and so we recruit players through word of mouth, but we also have key contacts in these different countries, always keeping an eye out for promising and developing Filipino cricketers.
All right, let me ask then Henry here and Angela, given this, the fact that cricket is still a growing sport in the Philippines, what does it mean to you to be representing the Philippines in cricket in the international stage? Ladies first, maybe Angela.
So it's actually an honor to represent the Philippines, as not the it's not just the, what do you call this one, because we are not as you said, we are not really a common sport here in the Philippines, and it's actually an honor to have an exposure here.
Yeah. What about you, Henry?
It's been fantastic to not only represent my country, or my mum's country especially, and see how proud she is to see me on the world stage, but to spread that throughout all of the countries that we play. There's Filipinos everywhere that we go, and we've played in places like Oman, where we've had support groups come out to find us, not because they know the game of cricket, but because they know that there's a small group of Filipino people who are giving their all for their country. So it's not just the impact that we can have within Manila and the greater Philippines, but also the Filipino communities throughout the world.
Yeah, you know, partner, this is how I see the development of cricket here in our country. This would be more or less similar to the template of the ASCALs. Because, you know, cricket really is an English sport. And most of the countries where cricket is popular used to be colonized by Great Britain, you know, like Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, India. Cricket is very popular, unlike here, because we were colonized by the Americans. But having said that, now that the coach and some of the players are, you know, came from countries wherein cricket is very popular, I think if they win more games, spectacular wins, there will be a following similar to the time of the Phil Young husbands. You know? I hope this would be the template for the sport of cricket in the country.
So I guess the question, now we're preparing for the Southeast Asian Games, Coach. How is the preparation of the national team? For instance, have you done any training camps? Have you done any tournaments recently to prepare us for the SEA Games this coming December?
We had the men's team had a tour recently to Indonesia. That was part of the Bali Bash, and in that tournament, it was our first ever tri-series victory. So that was against Indonesia and South Korea. And we were, you know, fortunate enough and skillful enough to win that tournament. So that was really good preparation. Other than that, we've got Grant Russ as our strength and conditioning coordinator, and Frankie Walsh, the high performance leader. So they've been coordinating with all the different athletes who are based in the different regions, going through their strength and conditioning programs. We've also been meeting online, making sure we're connected, and making sure, you know, we're maintaining our fitness and our game plans moving into the tournament. The last couple of weeks, we've really enjoyed partnering up with the women's team. We've undertaken a little bit of a final fitness push together. And so we are communicating and liaising with the women's squad, having fun and getting fit at the same time in preparation for the games. But back to your last question as well, just a bit of a shout out to Emilio Aguinaldo College. That's our home base in the Philippines. So that's where Friendship Oval is. It's one of the big colleges there on the outskirts of Manila. And, you know, the game is really growing in a big way there, and the support of the university is much appreciated.
Is it hard? Is it hard to prepare a team like this when there are very few players? Like, if you're in the Philippines, you know, unlike basketball, you can play with any other basketball team here, but not too many players or people play cricket here. So is that a challenge, Angela, for you as part of the national team?
Well, yeah, it's kind of a challenge for us since, as you mentioned, we have no like other players who can play at a certain level. But I don't think that's pretty much what stops us from growing and basically improving on our training.
All right. Henry, when you look at the Southeast Asian Games, who are your toughest rivals? And how are you preparing for them?
Yeah, Malaysia has a really strong cricket program, and they also have been playing cricket for quite a long time. So their group has been quite close, but it also allows us to do quite a bit of study on them and understand their strengths and weaknesses. So you know, the exposure at the highest levels probably allows us to understand them a little bit more, and you know, hopefully we come under the radar a little bit with you know, not necessarily being out on and televised like some of these other countries have been. But Malaysia is going to be a really strong outfit, as well as Singapore. And then having recently played against Indonesia and coming out on top against them, we think that we know them quite well and have put in some pretty strong plans to make sure that we can counteract and understand what we need to do to execute against Indonesia. So yeah, between them and then obviously the host nation Thailand, we'll have a home ground advantage, having known the conditions. And cricket is a game that's not just based on skill, but it's also understanding the conditions that are around you. And if you've had exposure to the type of wicket or the type of ball that you're using, then that can also be an advantage for the home nation.
Coach Jonathan, aside from these two, aside from Henry and of course Angela, who are the key players and game changers of the Philippines that we should be looking out in the Southeast Asian Games?
I've got the whole team watching this now. They're going to be. I was hoping you were going to ask this. Look, in Indonesia. So before we went to Indonesia, no Filipino player had yet scored a century. Are you guys familiar with what a century is?
Yes, 100 runs. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's 100 runs.
Yeah.
In Indonesia, in the space of 3 days, we went boom, 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 3 centurions in a row.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty historic. So our key batters, Andy Donovan is very key. He's a really strong, tall, heavy-hitting middle-order bat. He's going to play a really crucial role. And he's relatively new in the setup. But then on the other end of the scale, we've got Jean Miguel Podolski, who was one of the other Centurions, and he's been around the squad now for about 3 or 4 years. He's also one to watch. He's right-handed batsman, very strong off anything on his legs, and can hit the ball very hard and far. When we're looking at our bowling stocks, we've got a young left-arm orthodox spinner by the name of Kepler Lukey. So he's based in Victoria in Australia, but he's recently been selected to compete in the Australian Under-19 Championships.
Wow.
So he's going to be a very, very hot prospect for the future, and we're really excited to have him on board.
Wow.
And probably another key player to watch out for is John O'Tuffin. He's our vice-captain, right-arm fast bowler, right-arm hard-hitting middle-order batter. Probably the fittest guy that we've ever seen. All of the work he's doing in the lead up to the SEA Games is just, I get tired even just looking at his stats. It's pretty amazing. So they're probably the nucleus of players, but as I'm sure you will know, cricket isn't just a game where you can rely on 1 or 2 players. We, as a unit, we very much believe in the Kapwa spirit, and we're only as strong as every single other player in that team. So we really celebrate one another's performances, and we train together knowing that we're going to represent the Philippines with pride.
And we're very, very proud of you.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to a very good finish in Thailand and improving our podium finish last time up. Good luck, Coach Jonathan, Henry, and Angela. And we're going to be looking forward to your performance there in the Southeast Asian Games.
Best of luck, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thanks for having me.
guys.
Thank you.
Mga kaibigan ng Philippine cricket team to the Southeast Asian Games. Naku, yun po, hindi natin mga alam yung mga sport na yan, ha?
Hindi, kailangan.
Kaya kailangan suportahan natin
Suportahan
yan.
natin.
Sinasabi natin. Ang dami ho, hindi lang basketball at saka boxing, ha? Marami pa po tayong atleta na pwedeng
At
suportahan.
susunod-sunod to. Every
week, ating tututukan yan. Alright mga kapatid, before we wrap up, syempre gusto natin i-announce lahat po na nanalo ng Joyride Top Up promo. Jerome Angeles, Aaron Tolentino, Miaka Ronquillo, Jen Samonte, at si Juan Miguel Baang. Congratulations sa inyo lahat. And that'll do it for us this Saturday mga kapatid. Again, ingat po tayo bukas. Enjoy the protest rally but stay calm and keep it very peaceful. Lagi po natin sinasabi tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH Teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang live ng inay ko po.
Happy Sports Weekend sa inyong lahat.
More power
and more play.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na Sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Power and Play was presented by Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, love your journey. Photon, gawa ng Pilipino para sa Pilipino. And Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo.
Halina't makinig, talakayin natin